Hello, everyone. Welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. We're actually recording on Sundays as we normally do, and today is Father's Day. And I was trying to think of good anime dads to shout out, but I feel like that's a tough category.
I feel like Gendo Ikari is the obvious shout out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first thing I thought of was Piccolo. But he's only a good dad grading on the curve of Dragon Ball Z dads.
He's not the stepdad; he's the dad who stepped up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
But, I feel like I was gonna say, is the award just called the My Hughes Memorial Best Anime Dad Award?
Yeah, I guess this is.
Right.
I guess it's also not
dad.
like.
What, My Hughes?
No, Lloyd from Spy Family.
Oh, yeah, he's broadly, yes, he's a good dad.
So. My Hughes is not even the best dad in Full Metal Alchemist. What about Führer King Bradley?
He's just everyone's dad.
I mean,
yeah, he's the father of the nation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Joseph Joestar.
Yeah. I guess if I'm excluding like actual dad anime, I feel like anime dads are either dead, the villain, or they're like
away working.
Last season's
the pervy dad in the rom-coms that's like, hey, did you guys do it yet? You know, that guy.
Right.
I feel like that's like covering 95% of all anime dads.
There is Kanata's dad in Lucky Star who's obsessed with Kamen Rider. He's a pretty good dad.
Okay.
Kiritsuyama, yeah.
We can find the edge cases, I'm sure, but yes. Shout out to all the dads out there, I guess. Anyway, what we're really here to talk about today is season preview time already. Whereas we're rapidly approaching our 13th anniversary here at the GLORIO blog.
Finally, we're old enough to drink.
I was gonna make a Age of Consent in Japan joke, but
no, let's
that one alone.
Let's move on.
Let's go with the classy alcoholic joke instead.
You know, the more of the making fun of the people who say that. But anyway, the season preview time for summer 2025. We've got a lot of returning shows. Some that we're actually interested in. So I think it'll be an interesting season, but
it's a big season. Let's put it that way. There's a lot of shows on there.
Yeah,
this is interesting because I think historically we have always kind of considered summer a historically weak season.
Yeah, it's kind of a dumping ground.
I feel like summer tends to have a large quantity of shows and not necessarily many quality shows that we care about.
The thing I will say is that at least here at the GLORIO Chat, summer has historically been the Eero and I backlog season.
Yeah, we need to get back into that.
You know, it is the season in which we watched, Thunderbolt Fantasy. It is the season we checked out, the Tomino Power Hour, right?
Yeah. We've had some very dry summers before, but I think this one will have some things to watch.
I think there'll be plenty of things to talk about for sure.
Yeah, so we'll get into it in a moment. Let's just introduce everybody. I'm Jel, and I'm joined by Iro.
I'm still here. I'm not dead yet.
Still with us and still living, and we are joined by G.
All right, everybody, get your show Tucker jokes out of the way. You know, you get to make them once a year on this Father's Day. All right, that's it. No more. All right, let's move on.
We're all squared away. Yep, and we are joined by Zig.
I ran away from my anime dad to find a cooler anime dad who likes dancing and techno and killing people.
Okay.
And then you ran away from that one to find another one who likes dancing and killing people.
Hey, cross-contamination here. This is wrong.
Listen to Blue Mondays, their podcast for Eureka 7.
See, look, I don't even have to do self-promotion. Other people do it.
And stay tuned for their coverage of Eureka 7 AO coming soon.
Definitely not.
Hey, don't fucking put that in the air.
Yeah. Is that going to happen before you guys do the Legend of the Black Heroes?
Okay, hang on.
It's not going to happen before the heat death of the universe.
The air. Yes, I would. I'll keep saying I want to do the Gaiden series someday, but
you're waiting till they complete Die Neue These, presumably.
Yes, naturally.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into it. We got a lot of shows to talk about, and we can start with a lot of shows coming back. I just wanted to mention, I don't have it in the show notes here, but there's a lot of other big shows that we're not watching that are coming back. I've heard some things about Rent-A-Girlfriend. Season 4, which is crazy to me.
We'll see if we get to season 5 after everything I've seen people saying about the manga.
My dress-up darling, the shockingly popular toilet-bound Hanako-kun, getting more seasons. Sakamoto Days continuing. I think they just took a break for.
Yeah, I was going to say that's not a second season. That's just a second cour, basically.
Kaiju number 8. I think Dr. Stone also took a break, but that's back.
So jump, and jump.
Yeah, it's all these but these are all fairly big name stuff, though, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like it's not that we necessarily denigrate these shows, but like it's look, I
might denigrate a few of them.
If you are on the front lines, if you are in the trenches of the battle shonen wars, like good, hey, go with God. But it's just, I think most of us, we did our tour of duty back in the early 2000s, and we're just not looking to go back to that battlefield anytime soon.
Yeah.
Nope.
I will dunk on Rising of the Shield Hero, which is back for season 4 as well. But yeah, and a bunch of other things. Those are some of the big ones.
There'll always be a market for shitty power fantasies.
Yeah. I will say,
anyways, yes.
I will say, not that many isekai trash shows this season.
Wow.
Maybe it's the deep breath before the plunge.
I think there was only we had a lot last season, but I think there was only 3 or 4 this season.
What's the last big isekai smash hit?
Is it solo level? Wait, is solo level isekai? Oh man, someone's
gonna. We're not gonna have that conversation. I try to take it all back.
I feel like it's the same audience.
Yeah,
it is.
So idiots.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we are gonna dunk on people who are fans of this stuff. But
I think didn't Artemis watch Solo Leveling for some reason, if I remember.
I forget. I think
because to cover it for. I think she had watched it for.
I watched one episode of Solo Leveling, and it was possibly the worst episode I've ever watched for anything on this blog.
That's not true at all.
Well, we certainly never. We certainly never use hyperbole. We certainly never use hyperbole here.
We've watched stuff that's more morally reprehensible.
I don't know, man. I thought I hated it way more than any of the I'm Going to Bang My Sister shows.
Okay, but what about the Shield Hero shit?
I did
the
not
horny
watch
baby.
Okay.
The horny baby. I always go back to
that's a reincarnation or whatever, right? That's
jobless reincarnation.
Yes. God.
I always go back to Ascetica Rogue Hero, which I was probably going to mention later in this episode anyway.
Is that the guy punches girl in the stomach and she pisses herself show?
Oh, it's the whole harem.
No, he does it to the entire crowd.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like all 6 girls in the harem get punched in the stomach, so they piss themselves, and then he has sex with his sister. But anyway, let's get into previewing this season.
This was meant to be an episode about hope and the future and looking forward.
I was trying to say that there was less isekai shows this season, right? Yeah. So, anyway, let's kick things off with a known quantity and talk about Don to Don season 2.
We'll finally return from the cliffhanger of Momo's about to be molested in the bath.
Yeah, because they've never used that plot line.
We just spent 10 minutes dunking on shonen slop and isekai, and the first anime on our list is Weekly Shonen Jump.
Before I go in on this, how are you guys feeling about Don to Don season 2?
I generally liked season 1.
I'm sure I'll have fun. I think I have lost some of the momentum of enjoying it. Right.
I think that Dandadan feels especially like one of those shonen that kind of feels like it got hurt by the season break. Like, I think some shonen can kind of pull it off, right? They have like their natural bookmarks or book ends to end a season on. Whereas, like, I think Dandadan's decision to end it there, I mean, that's just the nature of the pacing of the original story, but I think choosing to end it on that kind of cliffhanger, and obviously it's like, I mean, you could just read the manga and find out that, hey, spoilers, she's fine. But, like, it's a weird choice, right? To just, like, sit on that note for months.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke about how they found the other end of the tape that they cut, like, 2 months ago or something, or whenever it was, Like, I always enjoyed Dandadan primarily as a spectacle of Science Saru's work.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will continue to deliver in that regard. I don't hate the story, but it's sort of a lesser attraction for me.
Right. I mean, I definitely am not, like, gonna cap for the story here, but I do think the reason why we probably even include Dandadan here, other than obviously, like, Science Saru's work, is the, like, I still think, like, the dynamic between Momo and Okarun is, like, genuinely charming. I find that to be
I think Dandadan's biggest strength, besides the, like, spectacle stuff, is just the character dynamics and writing.
Yeah. It's a cut above for sure.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, again, I won't spoil anything, but Dandadan Season 2, it's going to be more of what you saw in Season 1.
Can you, as somebody who's read the manga, can you look forward and, like, put a pin at where Season 2 will end?
Season 2 will end, like, on a proper climax.
Okay.
Again, this is why I think they should have just aired these two cores together.
Actually, I'm vaguely recalling a conversation from many months ago with people not on this podcast. Well, they were talking about it while I was present and not paying attention. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I guess if you like Dandadan, it's more Dandadan. That's what we're saying. I will just note, I fell off hard on Dandadan in, like, the back half of Season 1. Probably for a number of reasons. I kind of don't like what they were. I feel like I don't like anybody in that show beyond the main two kids. And, like,
What about the hot grandma?
I don't. Yes, she's hot. I don't like her at all, though. Like,
Yep. Fair enough.
I think she's a little one-dimensional as a character.
And I feel like at least in Season 1, I got the impression the author was not capable of writing a story that wasn't just threatening somebody with sexual assault, but that seemed to be the recurring plot line.
Yep.
Throughout Season 1, that they even end on it, as we mentioned. So I don't know. I was like, yeah, like, the spectacle's cool, but I've never been one to watch the show entirely for spectacle.
No. I mean, otherwise, all the other shonen shows would be on this list. But
yeah, and frankly, whatever kind of charm I was getting in the beginning was kind of wearing off on me by the end. But I don't know.
I think the thing I will say, again, I am not out here about to defend and be like, oh, it gets good 50 chapters in. That's definitely not what I'm going to say here. But maybe to a certain extent, Dandadan is one of those manga that when I was reading, I feel like it took a while to sort of find its stride. I think, like, I am still reading the manga, concurrently, presently, and I will say, I think similar to things I probably said when I was like we were previewing the first season of the anime, is it's a shonen, it's a battle shonen that doesn't necessarily, like, it's not aiming for the bleachers. Its called shot is not that ambitious, but I think the execution of, like, what it sets out to do has always been consistently solid. I think of a lot of the big fun moments in Dandadan, and are they, like, narratively gripping? No, probably not, but are they fun? And do I like the characters enough that I enjoy watching them, like, play out these big spectacles? I think the answer for me is closer to yes on that.
Right.
And so I think for Season 2, I think Season 2, like the arc they are hinting at here, which, I guess if you don't remember, they are in the remote village. We are getting some hints of like a cursed village with a dark secret, etc., etc. This is probably like the first arc of Dandadan that probably has stakes, if that makes sense.
Right.
It's like the first quote unquote real arc, and yeah, I mean, I think the people who already like Dandadan will probably find a lot to enjoy with this season. I think for people who are more on the fence, yeah, this is probably closer to your like make or break. Like this is kind of the part of the story that will kind of like really establish whether you're in it for it or not.
Right. Okay. Well, I know, despite how I feel, I'm sure it'll be extremely popular, and I understand the appeal of it, and kind of compared to other shonen shows, for sure. I personally am checked out on it, but
as the children say, it's peak.
As far as I'm concerned, looking at the internet, when I see anyone say peak, my brain makes the auto switch of it's shit, and it's usually correct, but not all the time. But
are we calling everything absolute cinema now?
Oh man.
Anyway, I don't know. I'm too old for this.
It's groovy.
We're bringing back groovy. Okay.
I'm gonna contradict everything I just said.
We have to go in order. We have to go in order of the Super Mario World special stages, and when we get to the end, we just loop back again. Right?
Yeah, what? I could get used to calling things tubular.
Yeah, but the Super Mario World special stages that all have names like tubular and way cool.
Okay.
Y'all never played Super Mario World? Get to the special zone?
I did. I barely remember that.
Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's do the order here. It's gnarly, tubular, way cool, awesome, groovy, mondo, outrageous, and funky.
So can you tell that game was made in 1991?
90s California slang, got it. All right. Well, I'm going to contradict everything I just said and talk about our next show on the list. Mm-hmm. My problematic fave, Call of the Night, Season 2 is happening. It's coming back. For anybody that does not remember the gist of Call of the Night, this is by the creator of Gachiakuta. It's their other big manga series. It's about a boy who basically quits school to hang out all night and he meets a vampire girl and wants to become a vampire, and it's mostly pretty chill, and then season 1 kind of ends with a fairly serious mini arc. I was definitely into it by the end.
Whenever I ask anyone why they like this show, the answer is always invariably some variation of, man, Nazuna's pretty hot, huh?
Why
do you like this show, Joe?
I like the I like the vibes.
So is this going to reach the end of the manga? Because I know the manga ended
I don't know. I'm a little concerned. I have kind of been accidentally spoiled on a few things, and while I did like the kind of a little bit more serious final arc in season 1, it sounds like there might be some more of that going into season 2 that I don't want too much of. Because when I said I'd like the vibes, I was kind of joking, but also not joking. It very much is I think I talked about how a lot of it is the art direction and just capturing the feeling of just being out at 1 a.m. with nothing to do.
Right.
Everything is black and purple and gold, and it's a mood, right? And then when you add in sort of the drama and relationships and kind of there's some fun humor in there as well. Probably more. I mean, it's more lighthearted most of the time. It's pretty chill, but I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think we are going to see more of the character that we named Megane Columbo. Who is the character that is basically what if Columbo was a hot anime lady voiced by Miki Sarashiro. So these are all things I'm interested in. I want to see where they go with, because at the end of season 1, and bit of spoilers, everybody, if you haven't watched season 1, but the very end of season 1, they show a shot of the main kid, like, and it's only like 2 seconds. I thought it was kind of a cool way to end it, where he kind of like jumps down from somewhere in a way that humans should not be able to jump, and they show like just a split second of his like teeth, and he has like a fang. Like,
has he vampirized?
Perhaps he is now transforming. And it was like, oh, that's a cool place to end it if they never pick it up again. So now that they're picking it up again, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one, and I just hope they keep a proper balance of the kind of chill hanging out at night and the more serious stuff. But we'll see. And I will not comment on Nazuna. There are a lot of other hot ladies in that show, though. I'm just saying.
I remember when everybody was dunking on this dude's art style, and
for Gachiakuta,
and then it's like those of the patricians among us were like, no, give this a couple years. This type of girl, this type of like character design is shooting straight to the moon.
Like the super like beady eyes almost.
Oh yeah. No, like I look, if you have been in the JP Twitter art minds like I have, you knew that this art style was like going to shoot like a rocket.
We broadly liked the Gachiakuta, right?
I did for the most part. Yeah, I like this better than the Gachiakuta, but yeah, it was fun. The Gachiakuta was fun. But yes, that guy knows how to design an anime lady. I'll just leave it at that. So
called it. I was like, no, I knew it. Like this dude is good. This artist is going to become a waifu factory. Give it enough years. Like,
I'm not gonna deny that. So anyway, let's move on and talk about a show I never thought was going to ever come back.
Is this that gacha game? I think it got a fighting game.
No, not that Grand Blue. That's Grand Blue with no D. And
wasn't there like a third-person action spin-off?
Yeah, it was
Yes, Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. But no, we were talking about Grand Blue, 2 words, as in
Grand Blue Dreaming, right? Yeah.
Will Cardcaptor Sakura be in this?
Who was that?
I said, will Cardcaptor Sakura be in this?
Was she in the previous season or something?
No, she was in Grand Blue Fantasy.
Yeah,
okay. I don't know. Goddamn.
Grand Blue Fantasy is single-handedly, that like however many degrees of separation from Ryu game characters.
Right. Yes. I mean, it's that in Smash Bros. Right? Like,
yeah,
and Fortnite now.
I feel like Fortnite is now the.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Fortnite probably is now, but if you allow Grand Blue Fantasy to qualify for that, then that connects you to many
hardest working link in the chain.
What if they added an AI Cardcaptor Sakura to Grand Blue Fantasy that could say slurs at you?
So like this was the show with absurd amounts of underage drinking, is what I remember about it, and then it had an opening by the band that did some of the Yakuza songs and the Kamen Rider Gaim opening.
So wasn't it that the manga had a ton of underage drinking, but they had to age everyone up for the anime?
I think that's true.
I think that's what it was.
I think they were like high school students in the.
I think they were just entering college,
right?
So they were like 18, 19.
Yeah.
I feel like the other thing notable about Grand Blue is lots of male nudity, right?
Oh, really?
mostly comedic, though.
Mostly comedic, yes. But like a lot of one of the most recurring jokes in the first season is just dudes stripping naked for no reason.
Yeah. I kind of liked the dirtbag spirit of the couple of episodes I saw.
Like, just to reiterate, season 1 of Grand Blue, I'm checking here, was 2018. It's been a little bit
before times.
That is a Railgun-esque gap in seasons.
Kind of wild to see it here out of nowhere, right? Like
that's what I'm saying.
Like, did the manga end recently? Like I'm very curious what like motivated the season 2, I guess, right? I mean, I
wonder if this is another scenario of like it took this long to get all of the crew back on like free at the same time or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, I didn't research it all that deep. I was just shouting. I just wanted to shout out because it is, as Zig said, big dirtbag energy on this one, right? It's
we do know you love your dirtbag comedies.
Bunch of dudes drinking and
just guys being dudes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, yeah, very, very much a. I don't know if I'd go as far as a dudes rock anime, but I think dudes rock adjacent. Like it is very much like.
I feel like you need. I feel like you need middle-aged characters to be a dudes rock show. Honestly,
I mean, maybe. I feel like the thing I would almost give credit to Grand Blue for, right, is like. I feel like this type of setup of like mostly college-aged men as like the focus of your comedy anime is like weirdly not that common, actually, or this specific tenor of it, right? Like the debauchery, the constant drinking, the fucking around in college. Like it's a.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mean I even remember because I was in college, or I think I was just out of college when I watched Grand Blue, and it was like, oh, I've never seen an anime actually kind of nail like
the party people.
What a lot of like. Well, here's the thing: you don't even have to be a party person. Like you merely have to be in college,
yes,
to get drawn into the orbit of these types of shenanigans.
Right.
It is surprisingly rare. We do get some anime like set in college, but it's never capturing that specific kind of group.
Golden Time touched it occasionally.
I was literally about to say, wasn't Golden Time set in college, but that was an entirely different kind of debauched spectacle.
Yeah, and that was there were a lot of things going on in that show, but and I've watched. I've watched a number of other like just a lot of those other random rom-coms that I watched were college setting, but they're not like this specific type of mood, right? But what are you gonna say, G?
I was just like, so I mean, are you locked in for season 2, Gel? Can you even remember what happened in season 1?
I barely remember anything from season 1. So we'll see if I have time based on other things to watch here.
I mean, the best way for like season 2 to open is with like an anime original scene where like the main duo just wake up from a hangover and they're just like, "What happened?"
Yeah, just
and then a dude goes, "I'm afraid it's been 8 years."
Oh God, I forgot. Okay, yeah. I forgot this is. I'm looking at the post here on Anime News Network, and it's like returning staff members include director / scriptwriter / sound director Shinji Takamatsu, one of the hardest working men in anime.
A man of many talents, clearly.
Yes, directing Gundam Wing.
Never mind. I take that back.
Gundam Wing, Skull Rumble, like multiple Brave shows.
Has he directed anything?
Right? Was he Mike Guy or Jay Decker?
Both.
Oh my God, he was both.
And Goldrand and Dogarn. So,
truly one of the hardest working men in the business.
That's honestly couldn't have been a better answer. Oh yeah, which of the two non-Gaogagar Brave shows, like the two main non-Gaogagar Brave shows, did he do? Both of them.
Both of them.
Two Gundam shows.
Has he done anything since the late 90s?
I mean, let's see here. I mean, this is alphabetical. Astronaut, Cute High Earth Defense Club.
Also airing season like
Gintama. Mostly a sound director on Gintama. Grand Blue Dream season 1. Ixion Saga DT.
Oh man,
noted blog favorite.
That's a name for
we are digging deep into the catalog.
You want to talk problematic faves. All right, well, perhaps speaking of Gintama.
Yes.
Just trust me on that one. We're getting a season 4 of Osomatsu-san. And
how long has it been since season 3?
I think that was also... Oh, no, that was 2020. I think I looked up earlier.
My goodness.
So, I know that to inform everyone 2020 was 5 years ago.
Yeah, I know that there's like a general time warp around that period, but I could have sworn it was longer than that.
Mm-hmm. And what
No.
this is the first season that's not directed by Yoichi Fujita, correct?
Yeah, so yeah, to be honest, like I think we all kind of fell like I loved Osomatsu-san season 1.
Yes,
I
too hot for
mostly
TV.
liked season 2, and I can barely remember if I finished season 3. So it kind of like they kind of ran out of gas with it. Like,
yeah. There were some
Mhm.
incredibly funny bits in season 2.
Yeah.
The we're going to split up and get proper jobs arc is incredible, but
yeah,
it did kind of feel like they were running out of steam
I
towards
think
the end. I did not
right.
watch any season 3.
I think that's a show that probably, as it goes on, it still plays better in Japan, which has a like cultural memory of the original Osomatsu-kun,
Right? Yes.
right? To like
There is a
bully it.
satirical edge to it that we do not really get
Mhm.
here outside of Japan.
yeah, and that I just felt like they were kind of spinning in circles with. I mean, there's
Yeah.
only so many ways you can spin that they're all losers with no jobs, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Even in the scope of the show where they can literally do anything, like they
Mhm.
can justify doing anything. I felt like
Okay,
we're
yeah,
running out of gas.
the last thing I remember about the show is the opening to season 3, which did a riff on the "Take on Me" music video, and also the anime Janai
yeah.
Gundam Double Zeta opening.
Yeah, they had their moments. They always
Mhm.
have their moments. But do I want
Yes.
another full season of anime? Especially as we noted, they changed directors for this season. Yoichi Fujita is out, who I think is one of the best comedy anime directors like ever.
Mhm.
Shout out to season 1 of Classicaloid and my personal cult favorite Bimbo Gamiga, and I guess Gintama. A
Fujita
little
is
thing
definitely
called
one of those guys
Gintama,
where it's like,
but
yes, like I mean, Fujita is definitely one of those guys where it's like, even if you have not like watched an anime comedy directed by him,
Mhm.
it's his influence on like the ways in which jokes are told in anime like can be felt throughout the entire medium.
There's just
Yeah.
kind of like one of the things that I often say doesn't really work for me about anime humor is that it's all very languid and not really punchline based. And Fujita's shows have a snap to them. You know, he
Yes.
fires off punchlines in for what it's worth, a much more Western manner, and maybe that's why I find his shows so
Right.
appealing. But I will say that anybody who's doubting the influence that him leaving this show should probably watch season 2 of Classicaloid and compare it to number 1, because
Oof.
that was a sharp fall off.
that was a huge difference. And I watched the like the trailer for season 4, and even then it was like something feels off. I can't
Mhm.
Right.
I can't like put my finger on it, and it's only like a 2-minute trailer or something. But like
Yeah.
I
Well,
was like,
give it a few more
you're losing a
years,
big
and
asset on this.
give it a few more
But
years, and Yoichi Fujita will probably be directing the new Gundam show.
so what was I looked. I forgot what he's doing next. It was some really old. Was it a robot show or something? It did not seem like something that he would be directing.
I mean,
I
hey,
think.
he hit
Oh,
gold.
is it the new Samurai Troopers thing?
Yes. That's
Oh
yes.
shit! I did see that.
I didn't realize that was him. Shit.
That was
He's
Fujita. Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah.
That's like next year.
man. That's
Actually,
funny.
maybe.
Yeah,
Sure.
so
I mean,
We might have to check that out. He might have
maybe they looked at Osomatsu-san and said, "Hey, this guy has good form on like rebooting half forgotten properties from the
Yeah,
70s."
maybe.
God.
yeah, so they finally freed him from Osomatsu-san. He did like I think he did some Gintama movies too in between, because they kind of
I'm sure he did.
Because I mean,
brought him back into that. But
Look,
yeah,
you need a good guaranteed payday. Gintama is there.
yeah. So yeah, it's just it's funny how like I don't know if the kids these days remember how popular Osomatsu got.
Oh,
like
it
even
was white hot.
even
Yeah.
outside of Japan, like, and that has died down drastically.
I mean, there were
was
like
a-
those like 2 years where like JP Twitter was just inundated with like every possible configuration of shipping pairs of the brothers.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the thing. It had a huge I don't particularly like to use the term fujoshi because it's complicated, but there was a very big romantic, largely female audience, which is surprising because the show is just a straight up slapstick comedy. But it was huge. It was huge.
Yeah.
The Ichimatsu girls, is that right? Is that what the phrase was?
And it's like, I never hear about it. After like season 2, I stopped hearing about it, but it was a huge thing in season 1, and that was like, I think we're hitting 10 years ago now. I don't want to think about that, but
the Ichimatsu girls was a genetic dead end.
All right. Well,
Jushimatsu supremacy.
Yes.
Muscle.
Jusumatsu was the best.
Well, I mean, yes, like I just like the muscle, hustle thing will never leave my brain ever.
Lives in your head rent free. Yeah.
It's just one of those things that is.
It's time
become part of the bedrock, right?
Well, speaking of the long-awaited return of anime comedy,
so man,
all right, woo! Yeah. So, speaking of things that I never thought would ever happen, well, we knew this was coming because it was announced a while ago. But prior to that announcement,
a while ago,
I never thought it was going to happen. Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt is back.
It's back, baby.
So
back in Trigger's hands.
Is this show officially called New Panty and Stocking with Garterbelt, or is it just Panty and Stocking?
I believe currently it is called New Panty and Stocking.
New is in all the marketing and the post and the branding.
We didn't. There were, they asked Ano Senpai if they could use Shin, and he reached into his desk and pulled out a gun and started shooting. And they had to run. They had to run out. Tsurumaki had to close the door and say, "Leave! Run!"
No, I'm reserving that for my Gundam show.
I will say, Ano's Shin Panty and Stocking would be amazing.
I mean, that would be so chaotic, but also, like, I feel like...
Okay, amazing in the like, I can't believe this is happening more
it's
so
just that one. It's just that one, like, serious sketch from season 1, but the entire show. Like,
yes.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't think of Ano as, like, a particularly funny person. So.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, man.
Do we need to tell the kids what Panty and Stocking is? I hope not. I mean, that's still...
The last hurrah of Gainax?
I feel like it's never gone away entirely. Like in the,
I think the thing you could say about Panty and Stocking's influence is that, like, obviously it has been dormant since the original show, which aired in the halcyon days of 2010. Oh my god! Like, as you said, right? Panty and Stocking was considered by many to be the last hurrah of Studio Gainax, right?
So there's our last big project, like
right, and most importantly,
how dare you diss Wish Upon the Pleiades? Like,
I thought you were about to say Sabagebu. No, not Sabagebu.
C3
Boo.
Yeah,
but and most importantly, right, it was the brainchild of the what would become the Trigger crew, right? Hiroyuki Imaishi,
Wakabayashi, and
yes,
a lot of the Gurren Lagann,
Tsushima, like those guys.
Yeah,
it's like really letting Imaishi's id out, right? His
like
definitely
sex and violence with Mach Speed.
Sex and violence and Mach Speed. I mean, that
and anything about Panty and Stocking is like the art style and the vibe of the comedy was very clearly taking inspiration from like Western comedy, Western adult comedy, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah,
South Park was the most common.
Definitely. And I think like. It's kind of funny because even at the time, I actually was like, I liked Panty and Stocking a great deal, but it was not like the show I was like, going like I would take a bullet for. But in some ways, I think my appreciation for Panty and Stocking has actually like grown with time. I think just like, oh, what a unique thing it was, right? Like, what a weird, unique.
I will say I don't.
That's kind of still where I am with Panty and Stocking. I'm delighted it's coming back. I'm excited for what that represents. The show itself, I was always kind of 50-50 on, I have to say. Sorry, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the show itself. I mean, it was fun, but it was also like, all right, this is. I'm also just not a big fan of like lowest common denominator humor in general. I think like it's very like crass, right? Like,
I think the thing that like still sort of endures up Panty and Stocking is like because it used the 2 shorts per episode concept
Yes.
most of the time. It's because there are so many scare quotes episodes of Panty and Stocking, like the bad ones you forget and the good ones you remember. Right.
Yeah, I definitely think that's kind of the like in some ways like again,
it was almost a sketch. It was almost a sketch show in some way.
Yeah.
Well, it was very Western cartoon, right? Like you think about like the ways in which Western cartoons aired. It was like A plot, B plot, or part
shorts,
1, part 2.
right? Yeah.
2 shorts, right? And I think like that sort of like shotgun approach means yes, they do not always hit, right? I cannot remember like if you actually ask me like, okay, list off like the Panty and Stocking like episodes you remember. It's like I maybe top out at like 10, but they're all really fucking funny. It's
Transformers. Like I remember looking up. Hey, I wonder if Akira Amamiya worked in Panty and Stocking? And it's the Transformers one. Of course, Optimus Prime. Like,
I mostly just remember the Scanty and Esox episodes. But
look, we all remember
Daieto.
Yes, we all remember Scanty and Esox.
Yes. Yeah.
I will. I do have to say the other part that I think has made the show endure is one of the greatest anime soundtracks of all time.
Yeah. And very importantly, new Panty and Stocking. They did say they're bringing back Teddy Lloyd.
They are bringing back Teddy Lloyd.
Teddy Lloyd, who's been in the Pokemon mines for the past few years.
Hey man, make that Pokemon money, but yes,
exactly. But I think there's a lot of factors that I think do work in its favor, right? Hell, we didn't even talk about the art style, right? Like I think,
right,
like it's weird that like Jel, you could probably actually speak to this more, like the weird endurance of the Panty and Stocking art style, like in everything. Like,
I mean, what in 2021, when Tact Opus Destiny was airing, and it had that sequence in the first episode where we all just went, it looks like Panty and Stocking.
Right.
Or
what was big limbs, right?
What did we just have past year? The Aquarian
Evo.
Oh god, yeah, Aquarian.
Right. I was going to say, like, the number of gacha games which will just, like, use the Panty and Stocking art style for promo art. Like ZZZ loves using the Panty and Stocking art style.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's kind of like just chibis, but aggressive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a fun look, and I think that it works a lot in the show's favor, and I think it's going to do a lot of work here with new Panty and Stocking.
Yeah. I mean, that is its single kind of most unique identifying thing, right?
Yeah.
I guess if there's one thing the kids might not appreciate is just how shocking that was at the time.
Yes.
Art style.
There
are people just straight up mad about it too, right? Because like this is
Gynax. There are people
people might not understand how big a deal Gynax was. Still, even by 2010.
I mean, they were only 2 years removed from Gurren Lagann at that point.
Right.
Yes.
Which one of the biggest shows ever at the time.
Right. So like here it was like the biggest, most. That's right. In terms of
how will they follow up on Gurren Lagann?
In terms of like combination of popularity and critical acclaim, they're like the biggest thing at that point, right? And then they decide to put out the show that looks like the Powerpuff Girls or something, right?
Right. I mean, like Panty and Stocking was like almost anime's like Zelda Wind Waker, right? Like there was
to make a Zelda joke.
Yeah, like there was a backlash to. Like I remember because like Panty and Stocking, they when they first showed the transformation, right, where they switched to the traditional anime art style.
Right, they kept that hidden. Right.
They kept that hidden.
Everyone lost their minds.
People lost their minds, and like I mean, I love it. I truly love the art style shift for the transformation. It's like one of the funniest things to me. But people were pissed. People were like, "This is what the show should have looked like the whole time."
And I've done this at any time.
Actually, it's way funnier this way. It's way funnier that the explosions we switch to a live action model that we blow up.
Yes, and so it's like, and I am so excited because like obviously we don't really actually know much about the quote-unquote plot of new Panty and Stocking.
Well, it's mostly on a wing and a prayer.
Because the season 1 ended on a heavy cliffhanger.
Gynax ruined Christmas.
What Stocking was revealed to be a demon, and cut Panty into 108 pieces and scattered them across the earth.
So yes, at the end of season 1, yes, Stocking, and they actually say "see you next season" right at the end of season 1.
Oh god, that was
because
the Japan chart days. Fuck.
It's so funny because you knew Imaishi was already 1 foot out the door of Gainax at the time.
Right. Yes.
Right.
2 years later was Inferno Cop. Look.
Yeah.
Like he knew what he was doing.
I'm just assuming season 2 will just pretend none of that happened and they'll just be
I
back.
hope so. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe they do the funny, like, you know that one quote-unquote recap episode of Kill la Kill?
It's like 60 seconds where they just
does like a 60-second flashback, like, oh, this was Panty Stocking Gaiden when we collected the 108 pieces of stock of Panty.
Right.
And it's just sped up 10x.
I think they could also do the Space Dandy thing where they initially pretend that they just forgot about that and are just doing something, and then it gradually builds up into like a plot arc which resolves by the end of the show. Right?
The other thing I think will be quite funny is so, you know, now that you know, we've come a long way since 2010. Social values have changed. As we all know, new Panty and Stocking has become woke.
Yes, they've added the boys.
They've added boy angels, polyester and polyurethane, and
wait, are those actually their names?
Yep.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes. Of course. That's great.
Perfect, right? And if they follow the same format as everybody else, are they also going to get really sexy transformations?
I feel like you have to.
Are we going to get?
You have to get you're going to have to get.
Like how
see like the largest bulge you've seen.
Yes.
In
How
decade.
objectifying will these boy angel transformations?
I feel like you have to. I feel like
right. I think you have to. Right. Like that has to be the joke, right?
I agree with you, but also never underestimate like the fact that anime is made by like middle-aged guys who kind of have fairly rooted.
You are right, but then I also think you have to square that against. Okay, but would a Maishi think it's funny to draw an erect penis on screen? And I think he would.
Yeah, he would. Yeah. Hey, look, God, I can't remember the name of the characters in Promare. If they can kiss in the movie, then
yes,
then
Gallo and Leo.
Yes, then we can.
I mean, that kiss was accompanied by an immediate no homo. So
no, I mean, I think the fun thing about Promare is that it was they set it up like it's going to be a no homo, and it's like, I can't believe you made me light fire, you asshole.
Yeah, that's
yes.
fair. That's fair.
Right.
So
anyway. I'm going to raise one important question, which is, I'm not going to ask if there will be an Inferno Cop cameo, because he will show up. How many times will Inferno Cop show up?
I think at some point they will go to hell and they will see Inferno Cop, and maybe he will not speak, but they will see him. Right.
As we all know, tragically, Inferno Cop's VA died in the most Inferno Cop way possible. A motorcycle crash, I believe.
Yes.
I mean, joking aside, yes. So unfortunately,
living the gimmick.
If you're wondering why we have not seen fan favorite Inferno Cop from Trigger in the last few years,
I feel like there's.
If we had, if there were more Inferno Cop shorts, Trump would not have gotten a second term.
You're probably right.
You're probably right, actually.
The Inferno Cop short at AX 2020.
Dude, what a legendary moment!
Would have saved us.
Yeah.
What if Inferno Cop say?
We're in the worst timeline.
Quite a nuisance.
So we have to go back, but instead of killing baby Hitler, we have to make sure that Inferno Cop's voice actor survives to do more scathing attacks.
Somehow prevented World War III and the fall of democracy because we saved Inferno Cop. But anyway,
I think like this mood we have constructed over the past 10 minutes, just like, I think we're excited for
that. If that is,
it's like fun. It's a return to like a simpler time, almost. I think if this had happened 5 years ago, I would not be nearly as excited. Right? Like,
probably.
No, I think like this is. Oh, go ahead.
No, you first, G. You first.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I think in many ways, like what's working with me about like a Panty and Stocking, sequel is like, like anime comedy has obviously not like gotten bad or faded with time, right? I mean, Apocalypse Hotel is airing this season, and like that thing is like a legitimate anime of the year contender, right? So it's not like anime comedy is back or anything, but I think the energy that we've just had in this conversation, like in some ways that is the joy that Trigger brings us, right? Like it is like in some ways, right? Like it is that manic just like, you know,
Yes.
just
It's been
I
a
almost
while.
can't even put words to it.
It's been a while since we've had
gravitational
like
pull of Gynax and Gynax derivatives. It cannot be
Yes.
underestimated. Like,
Indeed.
it's been a while. I feel like it has been a while since they just let Amaishi cut loose too. So who knows what
True.
he has in store?
It's been a few years since Promare.
yeah.
Anyway,
I remember there was that interview with him at the start of the Gurren Lagann movies when they aired those in theaters, and he's like, "I couldn't make this again today. I wouldn't be able to." Anyway, yeah.
Zig, you were gonna say?
Yes.
Oh, the only thing I was going to say was, like I said near the beginning of this discussion, I'm not sure how an older me, a more experienced me will feel about Panty Stocking. Maybe I'll like it more, maybe I won't. But I am glad that it is happening. I'm glad that it exists, almost regardless of the quality of the finished product. I think it's important that this, productions of this type exist. It's cool that Trigger were able to get the rights back and all of that stuff. It's a feel-good story, and to a certain extent, the quality of the show is almost incidental. And that sounds like a diss, but it isn't really meant to be.
No, it's a little bit like
what's the Ebert quote about Gamera is what I was thinking about. You know what I mean? Where it's like he's like, how can you think Gamera is fun? And then you become more sophisticated. Like, you're a child, you think Gamera's cool. You become more sophisticated, and you think Gamera is not as interesting as, like...
That turtle couldn't fly.
Air Force One, which has presidents
being attacked by terrorists.
Right? And then, like, it's got more production values. It's got movie stars. It's got a semi-plausible plot. And then, as you grow yet older and more wiser... you really realize that actually both of these movies are fucking insane, but Gamera has a flying turtle.
Yeah.
Let's hear it. Yeah. And in an age of flawless special effects, it is somehow more fun to watch flawed ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I get where Zig's coming from, because like Panty Stocking is never going to be like my favorite show, right?
Oh,
like,
dude, yes, it's so stupid.
I'm just not a huge fan of gross out humor.
Yeah,
right.
I'll even call my shot here, right? Even as like Trigger Stan #1, right? Like I don't even like necessarily think Panty Stocking is even going to be this year's best comedy, but what I know is going to happen is that like a character is going to tween on screen, and I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh.
Was it,
yeah.
You motherfucker, you fatherfucker.
All right.
Somebody's going to say a lot of swear words, and it's going to be incredibly funny in context.
It's going to be fun.
Joseph Joestar's voice actor passed away a long time ago. Like, we need some more voice actors saying English swear words.
Both the Japanese, and if you guys ever saw the English dub.
I saw enough clips of the English dub.
I heard it was good.
This is good.
Surprisingly good. Yeah, it was very solid.
They just let them cut loose. Something about having it in like localized English also makes it very entertaining. Yes. But anyway, let's move on. That'll be fun. I think I think that no matter what happens, I think that'll just be fun. So
every Trigger anime is an event, for better or worse.
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to newly airing things for next season, and we'll start with Gachiakuta. I don't know what this is, but you put this on the list.
I've seen this title before, and I could not tell you what it is.
I mainly included here, so yes, it is. I've kept up to date on it mostly in the way that I do with any time a manga starts to get a certain amount of buzz. I go, all right, let's see what people are talking about, right? And my main called shot here is that Gachiakuta seems like it is probably the next of these sort of like high profile shonen, like big budget shonen adaptations, right? It is your next. No, it is actually not Jump. It is a weekly shonen.
The distant second to Jump.
Yes, but. Yeah, I say that because I think like there's a lot of things about it that gives me strong. Okay, this is going to be your next like not Demon Slayer, because let's not go that far, but like this could be your next Elusive Samurai. It could be your next why can't there's so many of these, you know what I mean? But
are you saying like not necessarily
I'm seeing here that Go-Go Loser Ranger was also in Weekly Shonen magazine, and that was also like a fairly high profile, high budget shonen adaptation, right? So like, but it was sort of on the B tier compared to Jump, which has an outsized mind space.
Right. But I guess the thing about, I mean, again, I mainly say this because also Gachiakuta, this anime is being done by Bones, and this is thematically resonant for a number of reasons.
Okay, Bones, yeah.
The long and short of it is Gachiakuta is...
Oh, I'm seeing a name here on the Bones.
Sort of the latest in the, like, a very particular kind of, like... I don't mean this nearly as dismissively as I'm about to make it sound, but it is sort of the latest in a certain type of edgelord battle shonen. It has often been compared to like Dorohedoro in the sense of it is a sort of dark urban fantasy, like violent manga made by a female mangaka with a strong like metal punk aesthetic. Gachiakuta is basically like the basic premise of it is like, you know, like the main character lives in this world of have and have-nots, and the have-nots live in, you know, squalor. And in the have-nots side of this world is a giant pit in which, like, undesirables and trash and the things deemed unfit for society are tossed into.
I see exactly what you were saying a minute ago.
It's tossed in the big hole. And rather than dying, he finds out that there's a world at the bottom of the big hole in which, like, the dregs of society, like, fight for survival in their horrible trash universe world they live in, while entertaining, you know, dreams of rebellion and one day climbing out of that hole and getting their revenge on the people up top, right? And, you know, it's... Like, the creator, Kei Urana, she was an assistant on Soul Eater and Fire Force, which is why I say Gachiakuta getting an adaptation by Bones feels very full circle. It's not my favorite. Like, you're not going to hear me going to bat for this in the way that, like, I have for, like, a Dandadan or anything, but I think this will find its niche in the battle shonen environment. Again, like, the people who are looking for that kind of gritty edgelord shonen. I mean, I actually do like the art style of Gachiakuta quite a bit. Like, again, when I say assistant for Soul Eater, you look at her art, Kei Urana's art, and it's like, oh yeah, you see exactly how this lady cut her teeth, like, working on like bold out, like, thick scratchy outlines, like tons of hatching, you know.
I was going to say, like, Soul Eater, though, notably not a dark and gritty story for the most part.
Soul Eater not dark and gritty, but was, like, very much aping those kind of vaguely, like, punk goth aesthetic, if that makes sense. Right?
I will say that I think the idea of the sort of dark and grim shonen has been so discredited at this point, it's kind of looped back around to being interesting again, if that makes any sense.
Kinda, yeah.
Like, at this point, there are way more deconstructions and parodies of the idea than there are straight examples, so I'm not, you know, I'm kind of vaguely intrigued by it on that level alone.
Right. I will note one of the names here on the staff I'm seeing. Music by Taku Iwasaki.
Shit! All right, hold on. I didn't catch that. Okay, hold on.
Iro, you should, for the benefit of the listeners, you should explain who that is.
Taku Iwasaki, known for Gurren Lagann, Bento, Part 2 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, with the Mayan rap.
Yes.
Probably some other things I'm forgetting. I mean, he's just been changing Budo Stray Dogs forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I very
Gatchaman Crowds.
He even did this. He even did the soundtrack for Soul Eater. So there you go. Perfect,
oh shit!
Right? Like,
okay, yeah. Yakutai Japan.
I mean, the point is, he's a very like for a very particular kind of anime fan. He is a fan favorite. He has a very eclectic style and approach to composition that I think it just like
he'll swing for the fences.
His soundtrack will never be what you expect or thought you wanted until you hear it and you go, no, actually, this was the perfect soundtrack for JoJo Part 2. I could not imagine.
You spend 30 seconds going, what the fuck? And then once you hit 60 seconds, you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
I think in Gotchaman Crowds they had like the dubstep opera or something like
that.
That sounds like Takiyosaki.
Dude, I still have that track on my work
Libera Me
playlist,
from
man.
Hell, right? Like,
yeah, Libera Me. Yeah, I mean, kind of a good fit, I would say, for Gachiakuta. Again, maybe I'll now that I know that's Taka Iwasaki, it's like, oh shit, now I kind of have to watch this. I was going to say I'll give this
check out a few episodes, right? Like,
yeah, I was like, I'll give this like an episode or two, but like, I mean, I like the manga enough, but I'm not. But I was like, I don't know, man. Taka Iwasaki might cook.
I hope so.
Yeah. All right.
Look, if Inokido could escape Moongo Stray Dogs for a season, like,
yes,
let's let Iwasaki out.
All right. Well, let's move on. I don't really have much to say about this show. I checked it out because Aqua, who's braver than me at putting shows on the preview list, mentioned he had heard good things about this. But the summer Hikaru died. This is a
spoilers.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's like from what I'm seeing, it's like a psychological horror thing kind of.
That's perfectly within his wheelhouse. That makes sense.
Yeah, and like it's these two boys that are friends, and then one of them is like acting weird and is probably possessed by some kind of monster or something like that. But they're trying to unravel what that is, and everything is what it appears to be, and it's sort of like the creepy horror thing in some rural mountain town somewhere type of show. It does. I watched the trailer. I mean, it looks pretty good, and it does
look interesting.
This director has done good work for bad shows. Eromanga Sensei.
Well,
I mean, it was a well-directed show, I guess.
The problem with Eromanga Sensei was not its direction.
I mean, well, yes, I was seeing it on Sakugaburo every week for wow, such good animation. Let's not talk about the story at all.
Right.
They did that one little. They did some of that Pokemon OVA for Scarlet Violet, and those all looked good.
Yeah, those were lovely.
He did some episodes on some good shows, like with
Flip Flappers
and stuff. Yeah,
Flip Flappers and Heike Story. Yeah.
So
those were very good shows.
So yeah, and also, do we have to with Apocalypse Hotel out now? Do we have to keep an eye on Cygames Pictures, their studio?
Yes,
we might.
I think we kind of do
because they're making this.
They've been doing good work. This is an adaptation, but
it's an adaptation, but. It looks pretty.
But I think this might be worth keeping an eye out, just because I don't think you get you obviously do get horror and horror adjacent anime fairly often, but I think it's hard to deny the siren song of small town psychological horror, right? It's almost like fine, all right, I'll give you an episode or two.
You get a lot of horror aesthetic in anime, but you don't get a lot of actual horror, right?
I think that's sort of what I was getting at.
Plenty of monsters and zombies, but not a lot of creeping psychological tension.
Right. Yeah.
And the premise of my friend went missing and he came back wrong is just
right.
I mean, that's solid.
Yeah. The animation director has worked on let's see here. Common Lucifer, the Fully Cooley sequels, Gatchaman Crowds.
Oh boy!
As animation,
Crowds.
Right?
I know. Yes, just
Backcross Frontier, the new Mononoke movies.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah.
Stars Align.
Watch that.
Vivi.
Shout out to Vivi.
Animation director of half of Vivi. That ain't nothing.
Sounds like a pretty loaded crew, then.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that one taking off.
So I think it's worth keeping an eye on. I didn't read too much more because it seems like the type of show that you don't want to know more.
Yes,
definitely.
It's got mystery to it, so we'll check it out. Okay, well.
A sequel of a sort, if we want to talk about long-awaited,
a spiritual sequel, perhaps. We're talking about City, the animation.
Yeah,
this is, in a way, perhaps the spiritual successor to Nichijou.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same author.
Yes,
artist.
Keiichi Arawi.
Yep, and it is being done by Kyoto Animation.
Once again,
yep. I don't know if there is. This might actually have less plot than Nichijou. I think it's.
I mean, I've already seen a clip of someone fighting a deer, so clearly it is.
So I'm definitely excited for this. Obviously, like as the guy who says Nichijou is his favorite KyoAni anime, like. City,
I have Nichijou as one of my favorite anime of all time. So
yes, City looks like a lot of fun. I will say the premise, like,
that's weird, Chi. I always thought of you more as a Tamako Market kind of guy.
Like City seems like maybe it's even more like bit based than Nichijou, but it does seem like it does have a recurring cast. So like,
yes,
I think it's not purely sketch comedy, but.
It's not the director of Nichijou, right?
Well, the director of Nichijou was.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
One of the people who was killed in the Q.
Well, no, I think it was.
Was that not true? Okay, my bad.
I can't remember. Is it Ishihara or whatever his name? He's still around. But he is
okay,
not.
My bad.
He is actually that. So that does. Well, he was like the main director, but I think there were a bunch of people that worked on Nichijou. The guy that's directing this is actually Ishidate, who did. He's kind of one of the newer guys that did like.
Sure, I'm looking at his stuff, and it's.
I'm
not seeing too many director thing. Okay, he directed Beyond the Boundary, but
he's like my
the list here is Violet Evergarden.
Violet, he's kind of my least favorite KyoAni director.
Well,
but. Well, I guess I mean
there. So
the other ones are you got. I think Ishihara's still around, but I don't know if he's still actually directing. He's very old, and then you've got Naoko Yamada left, and then and then the other guy, unfortunately, he passed away in the fire, right? So they don't have as deep a roster as they used to have either. So
certainly not. But
KyoAni also one of the studios known for spending time to train up new people, right?
And as we have seen from the last 10 years of them, like remarkably resilient, right? Like they have certainly bounced back in, maybe not fully, but they have certainly like rebounded from those days, and their output these days is again certainly not to my taste, but like strong,
and they don't really do that much like output wise, especially TV series are very rare from them at this point, so
they are still ramping up. I would say
I will say get credit to like this like the PV, right? I mean, like or what we've seen, this show looks great, right? Like this show like it's
Kyoto Animation has never not looked great for
but particularly it is the thick outline like digital line art look to this, right? Like it an article about the production, and apparently like the way they've animated this show is like they're inking with like basically like the Photoshop default brush, like default circle brush, to like maintain perfectly uniform like line thickness and darkness.
Right, I'm looking at this trailer, and it like obviously it's much better actually animated, but like the vibes of like a motion comic,
except it's actually moving,
kind of flashy.
It's interesting because like
obviously digital, but like
it's interesting because
that's fun though.
I love how the show looks.
It's interesting because like it's very clearly the Nichijou art style, but it does not quite look like Nichijou. Like
it does
the way
not, because I think
it looks like
still animated traditionally.
Yeah, I was going to say Nichijou is has some of the same stylistic touches, but is closer to being animated in traditional anime style than this.
They almost made it look like like you said, it is almost like a motion comic, or like it's like the manga itself moving, right? Like it looks more like that style than translated into the classic Kyoto animation style.
It's very neat. It's
looks really cool.
It's really neat. I like it. It's weird to say that like I've never seen an anime quite look like this, but it's really striking. It's really cool.
I'm quite interested in this because somewhat infamously, I did not like Nichijou.
Yes,
and I've made a few jokes about it over the years, but I'll be interested to see again, because Nyaight show long time ago now. When did that show air?
Oh, boy.
2010, 2011.
This whole podcast is like, how long ago was that show?
Yeah, but like, I'm interested to see if I am more receptive to something from the same author now. You know, I'm not saying that this show and Nyaight show will be exact. You know,
Ichijo was 2011.
I mean, I guess maybe it's somewhat similar to also like a Panty Stocking of like also like have our like comedic sensibilities changed since 2010, exactly. Right?
And this is also similar to Panty Stocking in the sense that even if I don't like it, I wish them well, because you know, we are still very much in the stage where every production out of Kyoto Animation is a miracle. So I would very much like this to be good, and I would very much like them to succeed.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I've never been a particular liker of KyoAni shows, but they have a house style and they make it work. It's just that the house style is not for me, and that's fine. They do amazing work over there.
Yeah, so when they make a show like this, I think that's it is why the world pays attention. Yeah. It's cool. Yeah,
I'm definitely looking forward to that one. It might be my most anticipated show for next season. I have to think about that, but okay. Well, let's move on and talk about this will be 2 seasons in a row that we have a wacky detective comedy starring Kana Hawazawa, but this one
she was in 2 this season.
Okay, the 3rd? I don't know. But this one actually looks more in my wheelhouse, and it is called Detectives These Days Are Crazy. This
Detectives is about do be crazy.
This is about a 35-year-old detective who, as a kid, was like the genius detective boy, but now he's just like this washed up.
You can say Detective Conan, we all know.
Yeah, and now he's like this like washed up, old man. All because he's 35.
Yeah, 35.
So
it's all over. It's all downhill from here.
Yep. And some energetic young girl comes in and wants to work for him and reinvigorates him to
so it's an Ace Attorney game,
basically. It looks incredibly wacky and stupid, like just dumb anime comedy, and I feel like it's been a long time since I've had one of those, and I just love stupid anime comedy. There's there's not like too much more for me to say about it. Like,
dude, this PV is so fast paced. What the hell?
There's a lot going on in the PV. Yeah, there's just like random
main promo video. Okay.
I know the genre has never gone away entirely, but I kind of feel like there's been a mini renaissance of detective shows over the past year or so. We're seeing quite a few of them there.
Yeah.
And they don't all star Kana Hanazawa.
So the thing I will say, Gel, for your sake, I really hope the show is good. I hope you really like it.
Mm-hmm.
This PV gives me a little can I still pull it off? Shikonoko
Koshitantan.
Yeah, energy.
Yes.
I might have missed a Noko.
That was my
it's
that was probably the last attempt at one of these that I remember watching, and that of course did not go well. So
you're saying this kind of has shitpost energy?
It does. I mean, I'm looking at this PV. It very much does.
A little bit.
Right? Okay. Yeah. Like, sorry, I'm watching the PV.
That's not a bad thing necessarily. Like, we all love Pop Team Epic, but it's like, I think it's just like, I think this particular style of like high energy bit a minute, not even bit a minute, bit a second. Like,
God, yeah, this is just going.
I think it takes a particular kind of a surprisingly deft hand to pull that style of comedy off, but
yeah.
But I think when it works, it hits. So
yeah, as with any comedy, we kind of will have to wait to see it before we can judge whether or not they're actually. Because look, I mean, Shoku with the whatever the deer girl anime is called, I don't have that memorized. The it looked funny in the PV, right? Like it looked like it looked like it was going to be pretty good. I was and until you actually watch it, you don't really know. So
The director, it looks like the director of the show was also director of he's one of those people who's worked in the industry a long time. Let's put that way.
So the director
you work on.
This is what you remember when I read.
Go ahead.
Remember when I mentioned Ascetico Rogue Hero? This guy has worked on some of the worst anime of all time on this list.
Boy.
I'm looking at.
I try not to hold that against people because you got to pay your dues somewhere.
Look, they also worked on Gun Sword, right?
Well, okay, now hold on.
And Naruto.
Well, he wasn't the director when he worked on it. Yeah.
Was not director on Gun Sword, but was episode director for 8 episodes.
Yeah. So he worked on one of the many Ikitosen.
Directed
series.
Escriad. Scribe, Escriad, whatever.
Samurai
Escriad.
Asano Yoichi, aka Samurai Harem, awful show.
Want to be the strongest in the world? The idol wrestling show.
Oh, like the yes, yeah. So there's some he's
you work he's a working man. He's
a working man.
You do a lot of shit.
Pay the bills, but yeah. So anyway, this looks like it could be fun, but as I agree, G, this could also just be a total bomb. We'll just have to wait and see when it comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, next show. I gotta remember what some of these are. Yes, With You in the Rain. This looked interesting. It is a show about a pretty anime lady that takes in a pet tanuki.
This looks like a tanuki to me. It's got the leaf on its head.
So predictable.
Which
I know, like a Apocalypse Hotel imitator god.
Which she
I mean Gel putting this show on the list.
Look, man, I gave you all the opportunity to put your own shows on here.
You're right. This is like a.
Is the tanuki voiced by Kenjiro Suda?
Is it a big cat? Yeah.
I was about to say, what's the gimmick to the pet this time?
I don't know if it actually does anything. It just looks like a very chill. I am hanging out with my pet type of anime.
Are you allowed to keep tanukis as pets?
I don't. Wait, you mean like tanuki as in like
real
tanuki as like the mythical Japanese like creature of folklore? Like,
I mean, the tanuki is a real animal which exists.
I know, but this one's got the leaf on its head, so like.
Right. Well, obviously, I mean the real one, not the one that is only in cartoons.
I don't.
You might not, because I think there's from what I'm reading, there's an ongoing joke that she just refers to it as her dog.
Okay,
sure.
So,
let's see here. They're illegal to keep as a pet in the United States and throughout the European Union because they're classified as an invasive species.
Okay, but
that sure does not seem to stop the people on YouTube who I have seen with keeping raccoons in their homes. But
yeah,
see, what you should do is just get like a capybara or something. Like,
yeah, I don't think
capybaras as pets
because they're huge.
They are huge, but like I think they're
huge too.
I think capybaras are allowed, but like they're just difficult to deal with. Right.
Really? They just seem so chill, at least in all the videos I've seen.
Yeah, but like they're
huge.
They have to have water. They have to be like living water.
I think they'd have to have a lot of water and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you know that the Catholic Church allows you to eat capybaras during Lent because they're classified as an aquatic animal?
Yeah,
we're getting way off on that one.
Well, Joe,
I personally prefer
this anime.
Yeah, tell me more about
like,
look. I don't
with you in the rain.
I'm not anticipating this being the on the same tier as the depressed cat show. Okay, but which I very much liked. But
what about Gal and Dino?
Probably not even Gal. I'm curious to see how weird, if at all, they get with it, because they got to do something, right? Other than she just has a pet magic raccoon.
I mean, is this a short or is it a full length show?
It's in the full length section. It's not in the short section, so there's got to be something else going on with it. But yeah, I also just like chill shows.
It's all right, Gel. You could just admit you're here to indulge in your sickening adult woman fetish.
Whoa.
Yes, I can't help. I can't help but admit I like adult women. Okay,
Say that out loud. I was. So
I will confess. I will confess that I like adult women. Okay.
Yeah. You know what, Jill? I'm right there with you. I'm gonna clasp your hands like until my alchemist.
Look.
Well, under the circumstances, I think we can let you off with a warning.
Look, Kowloon generic romance is going to end.
Yeah.
I got to fill that hole in my heart somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't believe there's like not even a full page of art from Monica from Xenoblade Chronicles 3, like on Danboru.
That is a crime.
It's a crime.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Where are the adult women likers?
This injustice to the public. Maybe somebody can pick up the slack here. But...
God, can't you just fuck wolves like the rest of us?
I didn't take you for a kimono friend.
It's too bad we don't do podcast titles for the preview episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I didn't take you for a kimono friend might actually be the one.
All right. Let's move on. Why don't you tell me what this next show is?
I don't fucking know.
I've
never heard of this.
I did not even know this was getting an anime. This is up there with the this is one where this is like one of those manga that is like that occasional weird crossing of the paths that Aqua and I have as the two manga readers of the GLORIO channel.
I read some manga, but not. Yeah, I don't. I skim off the top, right? I don't go as deep as you guys.
To be clear, the show you are talking about is Takopi's Original Sin, right?
Yes. So this is going to be what is it? This is an ONA. This is going to be a 6-episode short, I believe. Based off of
go ahead.
Takopi's Original Sin, which was a I guess a manga short that was was this actually Manga Plus, not Shonen Jump proper.
So, but that I put that under the Jump umbrella.
Yes, and this is
from the Jump family of brands.
Mm-hmm.
The way I'm going to describe this is probably going to make it sound a lot more like basic or maybe even like edgelordy than maybe it actually is, but
is it Anime Garden of Eden?
Well, okay, so
damn,
you did have to think about it.
So Takopi's Original Sin is sort of doing the thing of a cute Doraemon adjacent anime alien creature lands on Earth and befriends a girl in a small town.
Yep.
And it starts off from the perspective of the little alien friend, Takopi, and whose goal is he wants to bring joy to the people of Earth. You know, that his mission is to spread joy. And the sort of the other shoe, though, is that the girl who that Takopi falls and just stumbles into the life of, is a girl who is living a very troubled life, marked by extreme bullying at school and pretty heinous child abuse at the hands of her family, and it is kind of the juxtaposition of Takopi is I want to bring joy to the world. Shizuka, that's the name of the girl. What can I do to give you joy? And
here's the spray can of ketchup or
yeah, exactly.
I'm dying. I'm being punched in the face. It's
literally that kind of bit. And then this girl is having cigarette butts put out on her arm, and it's that, I don't want to get too deep into it, of course.
It's a very particular kind of comedic juxtaposition.
Yeah, I was going to... Is this
the cultural legacy of Doraemon, right?
Yes.
Is this a black comedy? Is it played straight, or...
They play it fairly... I would not call this a black comedy.
Okay,
there are moments I laughed at it because of the absurdity of the imagery.
Right, yeah.
It's like, hey, Takopi, do you have a gadget that can help hide a body? It's
a shovel.
yeah, bum. It's that one Family Guy bit where Inspector Gadget goes, go Gadget, hookah cleaner.
The bit in Carnival Phantasm where it's like Grail Chan or whatever. It's like a knife, stab 1,000 people, and get to be a hero.
Right. And so as a result, this is like, of the many things I've read on Manga Plus and under the Shonen Jump umbrella, Takopi's Original Sin was put firmly in the
unadaptable.
Oh, this is never getting an anime. Like, for multiple reasons, right? Also because it was a short. Like, it's not even long enough for a full core. Yeah. So I was like, okay, the subject matter, the length, like, this is, like, it did fairly well. In fact, I think it actually did quite well on Manga Plus. It was like a headliner during its stint. So like, I knew it was popular, but I thought, this is going to be one of those things that, like, guns numbers on Manga Plus, but, like, they're never going to, like commit, like, an anime studio to it. So I'm certainly curious how the anime viewing, like, audience will take to this one. Because I'm not going to say it's, like, gratuitous. I don't want to say it's, like, exploitative in its portrayal of child abuse.
But it is serious.
It's inherently like a dour subject matter. Right? Like,
it is inherent. Like it is telling you, like, this is, like, some real shit. Like, it is, like, it does not shy away from the types of cruelty that children can be subjected to. And
do you think? I mean, judging by what you're saying, it sounds like quite a weighty subject matter. Do you think 6 short episodes are enough to, like, cover that?
I actually don't know if it's a short in that sense. I think there's still 4
sorry.
episodes, but
okay, sorry.
I think 6 episodes would be enough. I definitely think so.
How many volumes is it? Right, like,
I don't remember exactly, but it is a short read. 2 volumes, 16 chapters.
Then okay, I think you can do that in 6 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I definitely no. I think the pacing will not be an issue. I think the issue is more like it's
the tone.
The tone. Like, here's the thing. I don't think the manga is insensitive towards its subject matter, but it is just very. It's very harsh about it, and it's that weird thing. Like, sometimes these are things manga can do that anime can't, right? Because of the nature of, like, animating it. It's like,
I mean, a comic strip is by necessity more abstracted than a moving image.
Sorry, I've been scrolling through chapter 1.
Yeah, right.
Oh no!
I don't. Like,
let me close this section.
Do you want to, like, tune in for, like, 22 episodes of, like? It's one thing to watch a child get beaten panel to panel. It's another thing to, like, watch it in animation.
Right, that's what I was saying. It makes the action more real because you have to fill in less of it using your imagination.
And the thing is, like, I think, like, if the anime is, like, good and sensitive and, like, well-meaning, maybe it can pull this off. Like, maybe it can, like, because, again, I will say, like, it is there is a cathartic element to Takopi's Original Sin. There is. It is not just misery porn. There is a catharsis at the end of it, but, like,
that's the kind of thing where even if it's quote unquote done well, not everybody's going to be.
Yeah. You're threading a rough line there.
It's a very thin. It's a very narrow. Like, it's a very small
and even if it is, like, I'm saying, even if it is done well, like, not everybody's going to have an appetite for that type of show, right? Like, that's kind of a. You got to be prepared to watch something like that, right?
Yeah.
So this is very much a, like, again, this is not me saying they should not have made this anime. It's more, that's a bold play, Cotton. We'll see how it goes.
We'll have to see.
Because I do think, like, there's the potential. There is the potential where, like, this anime finds an outsized audience and does manage to resonate with a lot of people if they pull it off. It's just
right.
It's much harder these days for OVAs and OVA-like productions to gather hype, I will say. And I'm not even necessarily saying that hype is important in this case, but I think it will be interesting to see if this manages to find an audience, which will invariably be a small one because, you know, it's not exactly a mainstream thing. But I still think that will be an interesting aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Looks like the director was director of Dr. Stone and also worked on was assistant director for Made in Abyss.
Well,
I mean, you want to talk about a show about child abuse.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. All right.
We'll see with this one. I will definitely check it out just because.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Do I want to subject myself to the story again? I don't know, but like I think out of academic curiosity,
Sure.
I would like to see what an anime studio could do with this subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
This will be my Pluto of the season. I subject myself to this show.
Well, moving on to something much more lighthearted.
Mm-hmm.
I have added Nyaight of the Living Cat.
Is this the Kenjiro Suda show?
Christ. I know a dude who, if he is ever on a call, he introduces himself with a Meowdy, and I was just reminded of that.
Okay, well,
people
buddy,
like
you're
that
never going to listen
life?
to this podcast. You know, I respect you, but also there's a reason I don't play along every time you say Meowdy. Sure.
Yeah, people who introduce themselves with the same phrase every time they're on everything, that's a real downer, honestly.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing the director for the show, and I'm going, huh?
Shots fired.
Okay, so
wait, what?
Conceptually,
Wait, we'll get there. Yeah, you saw it too. We'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. Don't say it.
Okay, so conceptually, this show is what if the zombie apocalypse happens, but the zombies are cats. And
are they still killing all humans?
Just straight up cats. They're not zombie cats. They're just normal cats.
Oh, okay.
And if you get, it's not clear to me whether you get bitten or have contact with them or whatever, but you also get turned into a cat. So humans are getting turned into cats the way humans would be getting turned into zombies.
Okay, so it's an aspirational show.
Yes. So, but they're playing into all the classic zombie movie tropes and everything, except
y'all ever read the sequel to 101 Dalmatians, where like the Dalmatians get psychic powers and take over the Yeah. Anyway, go.
Yeah, there's no indication of psychic powers here. They're just cats, apparently, and it's much more difficult because cats are cute and you want to pet cats, and
then they bite you and you turn to a cat.
But then you die. So
is this like anime like a metaphor for like what's it called, like toxoplasmosis or whatever?
What?
Are you not familiar with this? Like there's like a parasitic microorganism that like is like native to like felines, and like apparently like it like no it doesn't. Well, I guess it doesn't fuck you up, but like it's like a weird evolutionary trait of like when you have toxoplasmosis, you are like naturally more like less guarded around cats. Like it reduces your inhibitions.
That's fascinating.
Important disclaimer: nobody on this podcast is a medical doctor or a biologist or
a kimono friend.
Yes.
I'm not making this shit up. I swear to God.
I'm looking at this now. Yeah.
Yes, and people have like speculated for years that is like, is it like
endemic? Like
yes, like did humanity domesticate cats? Or did cats domesticate humans?
Tune in news at 11.
That's a good question. All I know is in this trailer, at one point there's this like Mad Max ass looking dude who's trying to get on his motorcycle and it's covered in cats and he looks terrified. So,
is there a shot of like a dude reaching out to try and grab something and then he's just like drowned in cats or anything?
No, but immediately after that they recreate the shot from The Shining where he bursts through the door and
Johnny, right? Like,
it's a cat though instead. So
well-known zombie movie, The Shining.
Yeah, well, will this be good? I feel like it'd be entertaining at least for one episode, whether or not it is.
I feel like this is the question of a lot of shows: is there more than one joke?
Yes. So we'll see.
Okay, so now do we talk about like
the staff involved, the bizarre staff involved in this?
Go ahead, Iro.
Chief director here listed as Takashi Miike.
What? Not that one, sure.
No, that one.
It is that one.
director of the live-action Ace Attorney movie, the live-action Yakuza movie, the live-action JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 movie, among like many other movies.
I mean, like, if we need to explain to you who Takashi Miike is, like, I mean,
director of Audition, the Dead Are Alive movies.
Yes, Ichi the Killer,
one of the most.
He does like 2-3 movies a year. That dude's insane. Also, music performance by Marty Friedman.
Hell yeah!
What?
of Megadeth, is that right?
Everybody on Earth has been in Megadeth
at some point. Yes, I think he was in Megadeth. Yes,
but like Marty Friedman has an established history of working in Japan. He's done some Momo
that's actually
stuff.
That might actually be less shocking.
Yeah,
sure, that's fair. Yeah,
for a zombie movie,
Marty Friedman has done a lot of like anime and Japanese work.
A zombie
Shepherd,
of
the Butcher Babies apparently is also on this somewhere.
Well, Takashi Miike is listed as the chief director. They have another director who looks like they do more anime.
That's fair,
yeah, probably. I mean, this could easily.
I just see Takashi Miike and go, huh? What?
Yeah,
yes, that he's involved with this at all.
Like Miike signed his name off on a thing in the middle of directing his 3rd movie this year. You know, like if we get even like one, just like for PR purposes, interview with Miike about this anime, then we'll have gotten what we needed out of it.
Y'all ever seen the live-action JoJo movie?
Apparently, it's like kind of ass.
It's kind of ass, but in a like kind of fascinating way, right? Like,
is that the one that's based on Diamond is Unbreakable?
Yeah, it's part 4. I think the like most interesting thing about it is like where they decided to like film to have Morio Town. Anyway, we need to move on. We can't talk about this. Yeah.
Anyway, so like I said, I would almost guarantee that will be fun for one episode, and then let's see if they have anything.
I mean, look, I'm now going to give it one episode just out of like crazed fascination.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes. So, all right. Let's wrap things up with bullet.
Hey.
Bullet.
Yeah.
Do we pronounce the slash?
I'm going to say bullet/bullet. In the same way as I say Hunter x Hunter.
So we don't.
I mean, yes, I say Hunter x Hunter to piss off the people in my good friends who are always must respond because of a genetic condition with it's Hunter.
Yeah.
Yes. Just like how I say to people to the One Piece is the friends we made along the way.
I mean, that's just true, though.
So that my friends who are genetically predisposed must say, no, Ichiro Oda said in an interview that the One Piece will be a real treasure and that he hates stuff where the treasure was the friends we made along the way.
Look, One Piece fans, admit it, it's going to be the friends.
All right, now that you're done beefing with people who aren't even on this podcast.
No, my friends, I'm sure one of you will listen to this. I love you.
Bullet. I think the big question
bullet
is...
/bullet HTTP
can Sung-Ho Park break the curse?
Yes. So this is a original anime that is apparently the like creative vision of Sung-Ho Park.
He's been working on it for like a decade or some shit. Right?
This is his this is his show, right? This is he's not just directing it.
This is his Akira, is what I'm saying.
The vibe I get, so I mean, I don't know. There's like I don't think there's much to say about the plot, so to speak.
Yeah. It's like
cool action guys,
heist gone wrong kind of vibes, right?
Like a desert world or something.
Yeah, very like it's. I don't have like an exact like it has a little bit of like it has a little bit of Appare Ranman, but hopefully good.
It's very like
Sabakui Bisco, right? Kind of
it's very like bold, goofy, colorful anime sort of maximalist anime type of style.
I mean, like I click a post here about it, and it's like announcing new cast for breakfast, afternoon tea, lunch, and brunch and dinner as the skilled assassin siblings, the cook siblings.
I mean,
I'm like, yeah, all right.
One of the main characters is a polar bear. I mean, it's very anime, possibly complimentary, but also possibly derogatory.
I think we've litigated Sung-Ho Park many times on this podcast. I think I've described him as one of the best action directors in the biz right now.
Absolutely.
He did Garo Vanishing Line. He did Ninja Kamui, which is a bit more contentious, but
Jujutsu
Jujutsu Kaisen. The first few episodes of Ninja Kamui were great. When he got to do his anime style action, and once they started moving to the like mo-capped Chad Stahelski action, it was less good. I butchered that name.
I mean, we don't care about this, but God of High School, that's very popular.
Hey, the first episode of that had that lady do a suplex,
Yeah. I mean,
my general take on Sung-Hoo Park is that ever since he stopped doing Garo, he has been ill-served by the material he has chosen to work on.
That's what else he did do main animation on the like opening of Yuri on Ice also. So like
he's a very accomplished like animator.
Mm-hmm. Right. So to Zig's point, like he's been on some things that we don't like, but we've never really blamed him for those, right?
Yes. That's true. That's
whereas
fair.
This
whether we should have or not is perhaps a little open to debate.
Yeah. Whereas this show, I feel like if this is bad, we definitely blame him for this.
Right.
But
that's sort of the thing.
Because this appears to be like his like creative vision.
Yes, that's kind of the fear I have with Bullet is that like every other Sung-Ho Park show I've been able to like write off as like, well, that's not real Sung-Ho Park, or Sung-Ho Park wasn't allowed to cook, or Sung-Ho Park
like with Vanishing Line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But like this is like this will be kind of a real test of like his capability as like a showrunner, a director. Like this is going to be. I'm trying to think of an equivalent, right? Like this will be. I don't want to say this will be his Gurren Lagann or something, but like there's a little bit of a like you are putting your name on this front and center, and so I really hope like. That we were all proven right that like or that our feelings are proven right that like Sung-Ho Park just needed the right opportunity to shine.
Mm-hmm. It's also to be noted this will be 12 episodes, but they're also I believe releasing they're rreleasing them in chunks and also doing theater screenings broken into like 2 chunks of like the first part of episodes 1 through 8 and the second part of episodes 9 through 12.
Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah.
How are you splitting it like that?
I don't know why, but that's what they're doing.
Okay, sure. Okay, whatever.
The first part titled Bullet Run Arc will screen on July 25th. The second part titled Bullet Final Battle Arc will screen on August 15th.
So I guess the first movie will be truncated, and then the second movie will just be the episodes?
I guess.
I mean, if you're going to give something more time, it makes more sense to give the finale more time. But yes, it does seem very odd.
I think I'll probably just watch it the normal way.
Yes. Also, Bill Bear's mentioning this will be on Disney Plus, which on the BDS boycott list.
Fair. Yep.
And we all, look, we're anime watchers. We go through certain channels that
the cool way to get things.
Also, this has been animated by the studio he founded, by the studio Sung-Hoo Park founded. His studio, E&H Production.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said, it could be very anime complimentary, or it could be very anime derogatory. It does feel like. I mean, when we saw the trailer to Appare Ranman, it looked cool, right? Like we were like, oh man, this could be really good. And I think that's why we are hesitant to get excited about shows like this now, because we have been burned. Yes. We have been burned so many times.
But I trust Sung-Hoo Park.
I trust Sung-Hoo Park to animate a really cool action scene.
Yes.
I think his storytelling ability is somewhat still up in the air.
That's a question mark.
This kind of feels
good story stuff, and I'm willing to lay that more at the feet of the scriptwriter of Vanishing Line than at Sung-Hoo Park. Right.
But at the same time, he was the director. The director is the chief creative, especially on anime. for better or worse, I think that this is, in my personal estimation, this is kind of the make or break point for Park, right? Like, I feel like if this is good, I will continue to pay active attention to his work. If this isn't good, perhaps he will sort of fade into semi-obscurity, at least from my perspective.
Right.
So,
I mean,
I think
gonna
that's
keep
like
getting
the position
work,
we're at, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, look, there will always,
as people who we all followed him before Jujutsu Kaisen, right?
I mean, like, there will always be call for talented directors and animators,
right? I mean, like if let me put it this way: if this is bad, I would still be excited to hear that he was, doing
animation director,
doing action scenes on a show or something, right? But I would
even,
not be
even director of someone else's material. But
I mean, I think we all broadly still respect Yo Yoshinari.
Yeah,
one
of the best animators to ever do it.
Yeah,
Yoshinari, though, that guy's a motherfucker.
Also one of the best animators to ever do it. In a way I don't particularly care for necessarily.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is like Sung-Ho Park is kind of teetering on that Yoshinari-esque abyss of like, can you prove you're built for directing,
right?
Or is animator the highest you fly? I guess. Well,
I forgot.
Well, I mean, I forgot to bring up
earlier that for the new Panty Stocking, Yoshinari's credit is special specialist.
Special specialist.
That's a pretty good credit to have.
Good. Is that just like the anime term for fixer? Like, just,
I guess. He's just he's just training all the new kids, and we can't.
I mean, it's always funny. It's always funny every time they interview Yoshinari on anything, and he's always like, "I wish they would give me something harder."
Yes, for Dungeon Meshi, right? He's like, "Oh yeah, I drew the dragons in this one shot. I wish they'd give me something more difficult."
Yeah, Gainax's young Yoshinari.
Yep.
Right. Point being, though, like, Yo Yoshinari, amazing animator, but maybe
not so great director,
not so great as overall director. It's a different skill.
It's a different skill set.
There's overlapping things.
Look,
I think there's more.
Sushio said he wants to just stay in anime or never do directing, right?
Yeah, Sushio has expressly said that he's been offered the director's chair and has refused to call.
Yeah, go ahead, Zig.
Yeah.
I think there is more overlap between director and animation director in anime than in almost any other medium, including Western animation, because, like, to a very large extent, the director is the chief creative on an anime production. But yes, there is a different skill set. You have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to, hire and control people who you trust to see your vision out. And the thing is, like, I don't think Sung-Ho Park has been a bad director, but there's kind of a difference between being a director for hire and like the creative spearhead of a story, a company, whatever you call it.
And we're not saying that he's bad at that. We just don't know yet because we haven't seen a project like this where he is like, this is all him, right? So even something like Jujutsu Kaisen's huge, but that he was adapting a manga, right? Like that he's not picking the story or whatever. He might pick how the story is told, but it's it's not his story.
For the record, he is not he's director on this. He's not the main animation director. The animation director on this is a vet who's worked on many shows. Right.
I'm sure he's got plenty of input on it, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember the bit from Vanishing Line where he's like, I just stepped in and did the last episode basically by myself.
that is definitely like the thing I've heard about Sung-Ho Park is that, like, I mean, not necessarily like a micromanager, but more like maybe he is one of those dudes who like cannot help but like wade into the front lines himself. And we'll see like how that works out, from the director's chair, right?
Yeah. I recall some interviews with Kira Amamiya regarding Gridman Dynazenon, where he was like, because I used to be an animator, or like because I have animator training, like I have to constantly stop myself from going in and like doing things specifically myself. I have to like delegate more because I'm a director. Right.
You'll end up like the girl from Zenshu. Remember that show?
Wow.
No, all right.
It could have been so much better than what a stupid.
All right, we're not gonna get into Zenshu.
We're not gonna get into it.
I made the confident claim we would never say that anime's name ever again after
the ending I said on tape would have been so much better.
Yeah,
You ruined it, Gel. You had to invoke it.
I didn't even watch the show past the first 2 episodes. So yeah. All right. Well, we'll see on this one. It's an unknown. There's potential, but for both good and bad.
I like Sungu Park. I've liked Saikung Park for years. We followed his name for a long time.
I would really like this show to be great.
I really want to see him get a win.
Yes.
So
I want to watch this and hoot and holler every week. You know?
Yeah, we're rooting for it for sure. Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for our preview then. Obviously, we don't preview every single show. If there is some show out there that listeners out there think we should be keeping an eye on, please let us know in the comments. But those are the ones that looked interesting or notable in some way to us. So yeah, and we will have our both written and podcast coverage on that coming soon. So keep an eye on it. All right, let's do our housekeeping. You can check us out at theglorioblog.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky at glorioblog. You can make sure we did the plug earlier, but make sure you check out our other podcasts going on right now that we have. Blue Mondays with Zig, Aqua, and G as they rewatch Eureka 7.
It's a real fun, happy time at the moment.
You guys are deep into that now, right?
Oh yeah.
You're in the second half. Yeah.
No, about halfway.
Not yet.
We're closing in on halfway. We just finished up.
That's right. You're still in the Shonen Heart zone.
Yes.
Yes.
So tune into that on alternating Mondays from this podcast. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher, and of course YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all those good things. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll catch everybody next time.